It's round 4, Club 100 Sprints weekend. It's finally here after 6 long weeks, odd. It feels like forever since our last heat or round. I'm on the Saturday today. I've got tuition again. Rye House is my local track, so I actually had testing yesterday as well, just for fun of it. And then we got testing with Sam today and half an hour on the track, and then we're going into sprints on a Sunday. It is fucking roasting here this weekend. Trackside it says about 30 degrees, so I've got to watch out for the temps in the tyres that we have no control over, so need to be careful with that. Looking forward to it again. My weight update, I've lost a couple more kilos as well. My racing weight is about 93, where I think last time was about 94, 95, so we're going in the right direction. Got another Mango crew with me today, and if I try and turn this around without sprinting it, here he is, wanker. Only joking. We've got old Scotty Parker, part of the Mango crew. For once, we're not actually in a heat together, mate, are we?
No, not a single one. But
so you might not get any penalties off me, mate.
I'm sure I might have one with Jammer or Tom or something. So
yeah, so we've got part of the Mango crew here, mate, haven't we?
Definitely. There's a lot of us racing tomorrow.
Yeah,
I am in a heat with
out the fields.
Yeah, I'm in a heat with Rich, which is nice. Infamous Heat 1. Rich is renowned for always featuring in Heat 1. I'm gutted to be in Heat 1 because it means you don't get a break between the morning practice and the first heat.
Oh yeah, shit.
It means you go straight from practice into a heat, which when you're rushing around getting everything off one cart onto another cart, it can put you under the cosh a little.
Doesn't matter. We're racing in the morning this time,
yes.
So that's going to be good because it's hot. Might help out the carts a bit more as well. They have fresh tyres yesterday, so they're no longer fresh with Enduro and the SP60s. I've got tuition, like I said, so I'll keep you posted. Try and get some video evidence of that. If anyone knows, I'm shit going into pylon, so that's going to be my area of practice today. And we'll catch you soon. Right, we go straight into Saturday testing in the afternoon, but it's my time to have tuition with Sam Dimolo in front. For people that don't know, he's one of the kart testers, but very well, he's got a good career of karting, winning many things. And his driving style is probably a bit more like the majority of drivers in Club 100, especially with myself starting out. So it's useful. We are in a mix of track with lightweights. As you can see, this Slim Jim just moving past me. And then if you see on the left there, Sam does try to either stand behind you or sit behind you for a few laps, see where you're not doing the same as him. And then also he then moves in front of you to establish, to try and show me where I'm going wrong and to try and get a good idea as to what I can do to improve. We come in a couple times as well. I've shortened this section down. We have half an hour together and we probably come in about 3 times and he tries to explain where I'm doing wrong. Or where I'm actually doing good. So throughout the whole weekend, coming into stadium, the 2 right-handers here, I was actually quite I was quite pacey through that and quite well controlled, so I always had a better exit. The 2 corners where I was absolute god-awful at was the second hairpin, which is about to come up, the right-hander, and then coming into pylon. I don't know what it is. I just can't get the line right or the pace right. So here, I needed to be a lot more stronger angle of turn. I was taking it too wide, and for here, he wanted me to keep my foot in it. Flat out until you get onto the left kink and then brake. So there were the 2 areas that I needed to improve, and I knew I needed to improve into pylon because it was crap, and it did improve. It did get better, especially into the heats when you'll see shortly when I wasn't injured. I really enjoy Rye House. It's a local track. It's probably where I've done the most amount of laps around, and again, one of the things that I'm trying to do into hairpin 1 as well is to make sure I get right to the point of locking up, you know, try and slam the brakes as hard as possible. And it is difficult sometimes because you get in one cart, the brakes are a lot sharper, and you get in another cart and they're really soft. So just trying to adapt yourself as best you can do. Here with the Slim Jims, I'm actually keeping up with them in the corners, so I was quite pleased with myself with that. But as you've seen, just in the runoff, you know, you just say goodbye. Look at that weight difference. But then coming into the right-handers, I was getting a lot better. So all in all, a good practice and tuition with Sam once again. tuition done, testing. I'm sweating out of my arsehole as well. But yeah, it was good. I learnt a lot, managed to sort out pylon, that corner, so I was pleased with that. Managed to educate myself on braking as well, which is always important in karting. And then round to Rye House is keen on picking up or keeping the revs up and carrying that momentum, especially of the heavier build like myself. That's really important coming out of the last corner for the start-finish line. So good day, still learned a lot. Massive thanks to Sam Dimolo. He's always really good, really good source of information as well. So I enjoy the day as well. We've got heats tomorrow, haven't we, Scotty boy?
Yeah.
We're down here at 7:45 for registration. Got the whole of the Mango crew here, all but Tom Stalker. Get the table out.
Bit of a spanner in the works this morning because they're running a 12-hour endurance, aren't they? So.
Oh yeah, shit. So maybe no track walk. Because they start off at 9 o'clock. They finish at 9 tomorrow morning. So I don't know how that's going to work because we're meant to be out at 9. So hopefully we get our time that we deserve. I'm going to pause it here because I'm probably boring you. Massive shout out for Scott for holding my keys and looking after my wedding ring as well because I can't drive in that. Almost proposed to him, but I thought change of heart. And that was it. I'll see you tomorrow. Right, heat 2, which is my first heat. I'm starting 12th and on the outside, which is the worst place to be around Rye House. I actually get an okay start. My objective this round was actually to be a little bit more aggressive at the starts, which ended up making it worse for me, which you'll soon find out. So, hugged the inside of hairpin 1, someone caught me behind, slowed right down, someone comes left, Tony comes through the left, another Mango Motorsport team, and I thought, do you know what, it's gone proper messy, I've dropped back a few places, I'm just going to sit with Tony now and see if we can pick our ways through. Tyres are a bit cold again, but it was really hot on the day, so they heated right up. But everyone here is in a train, and this is what happens around Rye House quite a lot. As you can see, some people have had a better exit than others down the straight, and I end up catching up. Poor old James gets wiped out just there, like completely annihilated, and the standards weren't too great. So for me, I'm two people up. Still following Tony round. Here I ended up getting nudged again, which then goes into Tony, and I felt so bad for him. Also, I probably would have gotten a penalty had I not let him go through. I end up letting about half the fucking field through as well. Tony spins out in front of me, I get knocked, and this is where I do my back in. Poor old Jammer behind me. There, that's when he gets shunted. And to be fair, I probably shouldn't have moved onto the line. I'm sure Tony did as well. I thought I had something was up with my car. Thought I massively damaged it. Turns out I had a flat tyre and a bent rear axle, so I had to come in. I was massively winded as well, which killed me for the whole day. With my back still in pain, we now start the heat 6. This chap on the front row just went straight to the left of me, blocked me when he should have stayed on the inside. I get punted out again, get punted out a third time round that corner. So I'm sitting right back. We've got Nathan from another Mango Motorsport in class 3 at the moment. He makes a decent move on the inside. We go into hairpin 2. I'm being quite slow out of them actually. And we've got Tom Angier, another the OG Mango Motorsport bloke. He's now ahead of us, and I've got Nathan to the left of me, so I stay a bit wide, managed to cut him up and keep that position. But once again, I've had a terrible start from being on the outside, and I've now been pushed back. So this heat was okay. Now my back was in bits still. I was still winded. I didn't feel that confident, so I just thought, do you know what, Tom's a quick bloke. I'm sure he'll make his way through the pack when he can do, which is actually a bit difficult to do around my house. So I thought, do you know what, I'll stick with him, I'll see what's going on in front, see if anyone messes up. We've got Kurt Holmes in the white that's 2 ahead of Tom. He's a C1 driver, so if he can make his way through the pack, and then we can carry on going. And as you see ahead, there's some people in blue that were fighting as well, going into pylon. So this was a busy heat, but for me it was ideal because it managed to just make things settle down for me. Nathan managed to overtake me fairly. We ended up having quite a good little scrap, me, Nath and Tom. It was in front. Good overtaking, some nice clean racing as well, which made a bloody change. And just coming into stadium, on the exit, I think that's probably where I benefited and caught up quite a lot for most people. Do I make a move down there? No, I don't. See, this is another thing as well. I'm still trying to get more confident at overtaking, which I managed to do in one of the next heats on that hairpin one, which kind of helped my day out, if you like. So we just sit with Nathan going through Rye House. Rye House is hard to overtake on. That's why it's so argy-bargy, in my personal opinion, in the first opening laps, because that's the most opportunity when you're going to be able to pick off some places. I'm just drifting behind now, and Nate's actually quite a good driver as well, but again I just managed to make up some time through stadium, and that's what I've done throughout most of the day. Now just had to try and stick with him, see if there was any drama, and he just went a little bit wide there. I think in one of these bends he goes a little bit too fast, a little bit too deep. So this one, yeah, and I managed to just try and pull around the outside, which was a bit ballsy as well, to be fair. So at least he's got room in your new rolls there, because someone else would have just been shunted into the tyres. I fast forwarded a bit because this now comes to the last couple of laps, and you can see Tom's fighting with Lee Henderson. Lee Henderson's also a good driver, he's super heavyweight, but Ian Half don't really look like a super heavyweight when he drives, so he's always quick. So we've got two quick drivers here. I was hoping that they were going to squabble a bit more and managed to make up some good time coming up to Tom there. I had to slam on the brakes, I thought I was going an absolute balloon into the back of him. I managed to have a good run down here as well. I've still got Nathan behind me, so I'm still conscious of that. Tom almost tried to go for a move there, didn't quite pay out, and I didn't follow him through. So now it's just up to me just to try and stick with him and to see if I can push him along some more, where he might be a little bit slower than me, or he can try and help me go through the pack. But Lee Henderson's a good driver. He very rarely makes mistakes, to be honest, so for Tom it would have been hard to actually get past Lee, because Rye House is actually a good place to defend. This ends up being a bit of a common thing around Rye House. You do end up sitting behind people, but in the famous saying goes, if you don't move forward, you're always going to go back. And that's certainly what does happen. You have someone behind you like Nathan. I know that Nathan is right behind me. Tom probably knows that I'm a little bit near him, and Lee Henderson knows that he's got fast Tom behind him as he keeps looking over and checking. So the last couple of laps, I think Tom gets quite a good run on Lee here, and I'll try and give him a little helpful nudge down the straight just to try and guide him through, knowing that someone's behind me. So he gets a much better exit out of here. And poor old Lee, this might be where the time where it doesn't work in his favour, because it's down the straight, it's not around the corners. So give him a little push there, try and get him through. Wasn't quite enough. And Lee now knows that he's there. Little bit of contact, he's still alright, and then I thought, fuck it, I'll go down the inside. I'm here. I brake late, which I would have never tried last year, so at least that's a good thing. Don't know what happened, I just completely stopped on the apex there and let Tom go off again. Now I know that Nathan's on the inside. Here he is. Try and get the cut back on him. Do I manage to eventually get that? We're now driving side by side, so I know I've got to give him a bit of room. Managed to cut him off because I'm on the racing line. I think that ends up concluding this heat as we move over the finish line. But it was quite a good race. Apart from the start, again, just getting shunted off, but it was still a good race, and it kind of was a good reset, even though my back was still fucked. Right, moving on to the 12th heat. I am just behind James from Radovic in Mango Motorsport team, and also Tom Andrew on the top left there. I'm on the inside, as he likes to say. Now, I was on the inside, so it was much better, but just look at the carnage of the first corner. Look at this shunt movement that behind me, in front of Jammer, he gets punts, I get punted, everyone's on the left hand side trying to fight for space, and I don't know how, but I think I'm like 5th or 6th. I've still managed to hold my place. I've got people on the inside of me, and that is Paul Williams. I think he's actually quite a tasty driver as well, so I thought, you know what, fuck it, I'll just stay with him where I can. And you've got Jammer up ahead with Mo, trying to have a little tussle and a battle there as well. And all I was thinking was, I know I'm going to have people soon come through me, but if I can just try and keep with Paul and to see his pace, and then we can get going. But it turns out that my pace wasn't that bad in this heat. It was actually alright. I'm still suffering from my bad back, but I thought, well, I don't mind at the moment. This is still going quite well. Got a good run on him down here into stadium as well. Jammer's gone a bit wide. which made me and Paul catch up because them two are fighting. And do I try and go for a move? I do try and go for a move. Again, I would never have done that last year. So again, that for me, that is good progression. So I'm quite happy with that. I'm sure he comes back at me somewhere. He probably does come back at me, to be fair, but I just thought that for me was perfect. And now I've just tried and got my eye on James and Mo while they're still fighting, and thought, well, I'll try and play catch up to them, and knowing that I've still got people behind me. So I'm currently still setting the position, and I think I'm about 4th in this heat. So I thought, this is fucking brilliant. This is such a good improvement, and making that move on Paul, which he's a tasty driver anyway. I thought I'm doing quite well here, and which is a rarity, I'm keeping pace with Mo and Jammer. I know they're fighting, but I'm keeping pace with them, so I don't mind. If anything, I'm catching up. I sit behind them. I am conscious that I probably fucked up James's first heat because he had nowhere to go in pylon. So for me, I'm sitting behind him and I'm thinking, well, if he drops back, I'll give him a nudge down the straight where possible, when fair, just to make sure that we keep on the back of Mo. But what I didn't realise is Tim Hill, who's the chap that's ahead of the bloke in the red, Mo, we're actually all gaining on him. So that was quite good to see. So I thought, I'm just going to tuck in with Jammer still, make sure that I don't lose as much pace as what I want to. And I've got to be honest, I didn't look behind me in this heat, and I really should have assessed who was behind me, which is going to make a world of difference when it comes to the second part of this heat, which is the last lap shenanigans. Now, I would have never have gone for the move had the circumstance come about and it was leaving Jammer on the outside, but I knew that I had a bit more pace and I had to push one person through, and unfortunately Jammer wasn't on the inside. So this is the last lap shenanigans. We're now caught up to Tim Hill. There's 4 of us, and there's people behind us on that I now know that are going to be behind us. So I'll try and set up. There's a bit of carnage. Tim goes on the outside. I'm now stuck behind him. Although he's quite a fast driver, I thought I'll try and get a better exit. He manages to get on the inside of Jam. I don't know how, and I've got some pace, and the only person I can push through is Tim. So I'm thinking, oh, for fuck's sake, I'm going to leave him on the outside. I'm stuck in the situation. Lo and behold, I get a massive shunt from behind. Look at that, just get pushed straight out. Pushed straight out. And then there's a train of people overtaking me. Tom Anger, that's a familiar back of his head that I've seen throughout all day. He gets nudged into that corner as well because someone's lunged in, which is Tim Pennion. He's actually a fair driver. I like watching Tim because he's quite a solid driver. He's actually a fair driver as well. He makes clean moves. So I've gone from about 4th. I might as well be back at the grid now, so I'm a little bit pissed off with that. I just thought, fuck it, it's one of those things. But this is the type of standards that we do see and are seeing. I shouldn't have really been pushed that way, but hey ho, such is life. With all the argy-bargy that I've had today, my back is now fucked. We start the C final in what, 3rd? No, 4th. So I'm on the outside. I know what's coming. Unfortunately, the kart that I had, it's the first time I've ever really noticed, the top end was nowhere near there. So I get pushed about like a balloon at a concert in the crowd. Once again, get shunted out wide. It's a bit manic. It is a C final, so you might have some inexperienced people. So for me, I'm just trying to defend a bit here. I get pushed out a bit. Fucking hell, look at that chap do that, lads. And that kind of set how the whole day was. It was tricky. Oh God, we're going 3 wide here. Someone going to give? Well, thank God someone gave up. So for me, I know I've dropped back a couple of places. It is what it is. I'm still not feeling it because my back is now hurting. On the run, although I did bump into him and give him a push forward, I'm now on the back step trying to defend. I think I've got someone there anyway that was there in the first place, so I let him have the place. No, I actually get pushed out wide a little bit there as well. And most of the corners I was getting bumped because, oh look at this, there's a rodeo. We've got a rodeo in the team, Jesus. And out on the left, again, it's just madness, mate. Sometimes it was a madness, but because I was going slower now, I got pushed out wide there, because I was going slower than what people was anticipating me, they were going into the back of me, and that was just again having a knock-on effect on my back. So I am starting to call it a day now. I'm thinking I don't think it's worth it. I've had to leave off there, get pushed out again by another chap there, get run out wide. So I'm thinking I'm going to call it a day. I'll just call this a drop day. I made some good progress in a way that tuition, braking experience, lap times, and I made some good overtakes into hairpin 1, which I wouldn't have done last year. So I'm still getting that committed progress. I get pushed so far out wide there again. So for me, positives, negatives, I have to share the ups and downs. I still had a great day with the Mango Motorsport team and the lads, so I was still happy with that. I'm going to call it a day. I'll park it up. Hope you appreciate this slightly longer one. If you do like it, like and subscribe and all that good stuff. If you don't, no worries, it's not the end of the world. And we'll catch you in the next round. Cheers guys, take care.